Hey everyone, this is episode 2 of the Field Notes of the Proving. I wanted to kind of keep going as to where I left off on the last episode, and I spoke a little bit about the formula that shaped my identity and made me who I am today. And the truth is, with all of this was I didn't want to be great. I ultimately wanted to be untouchable. And that created kind of this dichotomy or difference in my head. Because honestly, wanting to be great is ambition, but wanting to be untouchable is protection. And I spoke a lot about that last episode. Have you ever tried to be like untouchable? You probably have a scar that you don't talk about. And it's the kind that you only notice when you're standing in front of the mirror, the one your eyes just go to instinctively, or like the one you're almost too afraid to touch because you know that the second you do, it's not just a mark anymore. It becomes sensory overload, a memory, a feeling, a rush. Honestly, this episode isn't about any trauma. It's about propulsion. Because for me, untouchable didn't mean emotionless. It meant ideal. It meant becoming the kind of person who required so much evidence, so much achievement, and so much visible success that no one could question me. Untouchable was truly flawlessness and perfection. It meant performing at a level where criticism didn't land. It meant being so prepared, so polished, and quote, so put together that nothing could stick. And the easiest way I knew how to become untouchable was to be perfect. For me, perfection meant to some degree high standards, but not quite. It ultimately really was a safety measure. Perfection meant that no one could criticize me, no one could dismiss me, no one could say I wasn't enough, no one could make me feel small. It wasn't just about achievement, it was just about insulation. And here's where it kind of got like, I don't know, weird or layered, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't enough to win. Like, it's that feeling of imagine doing something so great, but I couldn't just win. I had to win on my first try without studying, without visible help, without any help, without effort. It had to look easy and not just one win in one area. It wasn't that once that effort was done, it was all over. I had to do it while still working out, still having the clean house, still being in shape, having a six-pack abs, still getting promoted, still getting a bonus, still being the dependable one, still looking put together, still having the perfect teeth, the perfect abs, the perfect calendar, the perfect image. It wasn't one lane. It was all lanes, all at once, because needing help meant vulnerability, effort meant exposure, and failure meant identity collapse. So I didn't just chase achievement. I chased a version of my life where everything looked optimized. And if I'm honest, I did a lot of it and it seemingly worked. But I don't really think I was obsessed with the achievement as I was more obsessed with the insulation and the ability just to say I did it versus actually doing the achievement itself. For me, this is how my quiet scars showed up. A little bit of perfectionism, a little of wanting to look extraordinary, even if I was doing the ordinary thing. But the thing is the quiet scar shows up differently for everyone. For some people, it's addiction and sobriety becomes discipline. For others, maybe it's chaos and structure, becomes survival. For some, it's anxiety and over preparation becomes control. Maybe for others, it's being bullied and high performance becomes armor. And for some, maybe it's growing up too fast and hyper responsibility becomes identity. The truth is that everyone has a scar, not the invisible kind or the internal one, but the one that really shows up at 2 a.m. The one that you're feeling around and you feel it and you kind of tense up a bit. It's like the one that wakes you up at night in the cold sweat, or the one that your brain like replays when you're in the dark room and no one else is there to distract you. What comes alive for you at that moment is that memory, the comment, the moment, the look that someone gave you, the weird stare that when you were walking to work, the thing that happened or the thing that didn't happen. That is your scar. And it's yours. And sometimes it feels defective, like something in you broke or something in you isn't wired right. But that's not what the scar is. The scar is really, to me, what forms when the body heals under pressure. It's reinforced tissue. It's proof that something hurt and you just adapted. Like your nervous system learned something, and maybe it learned be better. Maybe it learned be stronger, never need anyone, or never let them see you bleed, or never let them see you cry, whatever it is. That scar becomes kind of this, I don't know, maybe a part of your operating system or something. Some people, I do believe, collapse under it. Other people maybe numb it, drown it, maybe some build with it. Your body doesn't create scars to stay you weak. To me, I believe it creates them to survive. And I don't think our lives are asking us to erase them. Maybe it's just the ask to build something strong enough that the scar becomes more structured to you. But the truth is, I don't have any of this figured out. I'm very much learning, hence why I'm very much part of the proving. I'm feeling like the scar creates propulsion, but it also creates a sense of paralysis, because I've learned that when your identity is built on being, whether it's the strong one, the smart one, the disciplined one, the sober one, the resilient one, you become terrified of threatening that identity. So you stall. You don't launch the thing, you don't apply, you don't post, you don't even try. Because if you fail, you're not just failing at the task, you're cracking the whole architecture. And protection feels productive, but this isn't progress. And literally, as I'm saying this, there's the part that still catches me till this day. Like, you achieve the thing, you get the 100, you hit the goal, you run the race. Congratulations, right? But instead of feeling satisfied, you kind of zoom into the one mistake, the one question you missed, the one split that was off when you were running your race, the one comment someone didn't make. Because the scar doesn't want achievement, it wants control. And that control is never satisfied. So you win, but you're kind of still let down. Not because you failed, but because it wasn't flawless. And that for me is my quiet scar again. It doesn't scream, it whispers, do it cleaner next time, come on. And somewhere along the way, I started noticing something. That I wasn't obsessed with being perfect, but I was obsessed with not being exposed. And that started shifting things, because the scar for me never really has gone away. In fact, I still have it today. But I started seeing it differently. I noticed like forward motion brings relief. And whether that's just like signing up for the half, whether it's signing up for a full, whether it's training or building or just trying and trying again, movement seems to soothe the scar. And I'm starting to see that progress creates evidence, and evidence feels stronger than protection. I think this might be what the proven is becoming. It's not loud. It's not flawless. It's not about pretending you're unscarred. It's about being someone who built with something they never talked about. If you ever turned pain into discipline, if you ever built, quietly while pretending you're fine, or you ever stalled because your identity felt fragile, you're not broken, you're scarred. And I'm not saying this from the sidelines. I'm saying this while I'm in it too. Maybe the scar was never something you had to hide. Maybe it's the reason you moved today. It's kind of funny because there's something else that I've been kind of thinking about as well, that when I was 21, I thought I had what it took to be a model, which was shocking, the confidence of a 21-year-old, especially me at the time. So I tried. I went to about 20 agencies in New York City, and I think it was a mixed bag. I had some sign me almost right away. Some liked me but didn't move forward, and some passed immediately. But one of the things that I do remember was one told me, it was a runway company that said I had a, quote, tiny waist. And for context, I am a size 30 by 32 in men's, and that was years ago. I am actually still the same size today. So in some senses, I guess my tiny waist still lives on. But I found it funny, quite honestly, about the comment, because at the time, while I'm being dissected head to toe and being told I have a tiny waist, I had a absolutely chiseled core. I had a six pack. I had arms. I was in phenomenal shape. So hearing tiny waist didn't really feel like a critique to me. It kind of felt like that was just your version of perfect, and that's totally okay. But I was never, like, in general too, especially at that time in my life, I was never really shaken by negative comments. I was always, especially then and even now, just shaken by when something feels unjust or when something feels just misaligned. But being evaluated, being told that I wasn't someone's version of ideal, that really didn't destabilize me, especially in this context. But what did confuse me was the system, like walking into the room and being wanted, walking to another and being dismissed, not understanding why one place said yes and another one said no, not understanding why you weren't the, quote, fit. At 21, I thought I was there to succeed, but looking back, I don't think I was supposed to probably get anything out of it, really, except one thing. And it's actually a quote. And I met someone who was a great photographer who wanted to work with me more, and I wasn't sure whether I should take the opportunity or not. And this person told me that when you're deciding to do something, you have to stand in front of the mirror, and whatever you're going through, say it out loud, say the action, say the choice. and notice what happens to your body. If you're staring in the mirror and seeing your reflection and you feel butterflies, but it scares you a little bit, do it. If you feel that heavy pit, that shrinking feeling, that like dread, guard yourself. I didn't really fully understand that at 21, but I absolutely understand that now. Because looking back and signing up for the half marathon, that was all butterflies. Filming this podcast, butterflies. Not safety, not protection, truly butterflies. Choosing to break formula doesn't feel secure, it feels alive. And maybe that's honestly the difference. Maybe proving isn't about avoiding rejection. Maybe it's about choosing the thing that expands you. And even when you don't fully understand where it leads, and I'm not saying that this is anything I've solved, quite honestly. I'm saying this as I am actively proving something. And I hope we choose kind of butterflies more often, and I do hope we choose it together.